on LeBron, 39-9 in the closeout game, 43 minutes. 18th 30-point game in a series-clinching win. That's one shy of tying Michael Jordan for most all-time. 41st series win, most all-time. He is 10-1. This will be his 12th conference finals. He's 10-1 in conference finals. His only L, 09 against the Magic. And I had a huge contribution that series in my 6 minutes of action in the second quarter of game 2.
This is going to be the social clip.
Again, how much does LeBron have? He's clearly playing on a bum wheel. How much does he have in this series? Because I think what makes this Lakers team really good isn't just LeBron and AD. It's the guard rotation with Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Dennis Schroeder. And one thing I would say going into this series, the Lakers, they use Curry's man as a screen defender a ton. And the actual numbers there say it was close to 12 times per game. The Kings use Curry's man as a screener, I think 8 times a game in the first round. So the Lakers, because of their guard rotation, doesn't just have to be LeBron trying to manipulate a switch to then to get to a pick and roll. Like, there's options with Reeves and Russell and Schroeder where how much are we going to target Jamal Murray? How much are we going to try to wear him down? If MPJ gets going, how much are we going to then make him work on the defensive end? So, again, similar to the Boston-Miami thing with the lineup tinkering, the Lakers have an opportunity at times, and I said this at the beginning of the series versus the Warriors. I said, I think there's going to be a point in time when Dennis Schroeder's in the starting lineup. Sure enough, he was, right? So I think in this series, there's a possibility Schroeder, they go with the 3-guard lineup, right? It gives him another guy that can attack. Schroeder, I don't know how they match up necessarily with Jamal Murray. I don't think it'll be D'Angelo Russell. So if they do start Schroeder, I think it'll be Schroeder. If they do start Jared Vanderbilt, I think it'll be Vanderbilt. So first of all, Golden State shot 31% for that series when Davis was the primary defender, 22 of 70. But they had a ton of success bringing Davis's guy into the pick and roll. All right, that was the strategy late in that series for 3 games. It was like Steph Curry pick and roll, Steph Curry pick and roll, Steph Curry pick and roll. So how are they going to guard Murray and Jokic in the 2-man action? Lakers ran the second most drop coverage. And the whole strategy, of course, when you do this, is you bring Davis out to play pick and roll. You get him away from the basket where he's so good as an interior defender. Now, I don't necessarily think he has to be up as high, nor will they set the screens as high as the Warriors did for Steph Curry. So how much are you really bringing him away from the basket? How much can they guard that 2-man action, whether it is a dribble handoff or whether it is a pick and roll, with just 2 defenders, right? Because with the Warriors, what was happening is because he was so high up, the screener gets behind. Now you're playing 4-on-3. Can they guard that action 2-on-2? That's going to be a big point. On Davis versus Jokic. Davis was one of 4 players this year to match up against Jokic at least 100 times in the regular season. You go back to the 2020 playoffs, Davis is the primary defender. Jokic was 9 for 17 in that Western Conference Finals. Of course, they had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. So, again, I think that one-on-one matchup, they're probably not going to double. Does Jokic get Davis in foul trouble? Does Davis do a good job? Like, that's going to be huge, and as well as that 2-man action between Jokic and Murray, how they guard that. Couple things on the Lakers that bodes well. One of the best interior defensive teams in the NBA. They pushed the basketball. LeBron James in the open court. Nuggets are not a good transition defense team. Lakers are a good transition offense team. Nuggets run a ton of dribble handoffs. Lakers have defended the most dribble handoffs of any team in the playoffs so far, and they've allowed the lowest efficiency. So within the half court, there's a strength for the Nuggets. It is combated by a strength for the Lakers. My wild cards in this series, Michael Porter Jr.'s shooting. I thought Bruce Brown throughout these playoffs has been huge for the Nuggets. His bench production. Go to the Lakers, Hachimura's bench production. Lakers guards, their shot creation, their ability to manipulate things in the half court, I think is huge. And then it goes back to what I said about Game 7, Philly-Boston. Whose stars play the best?
Yeah.
Whose stars play the best? It's a much better team. And their rotation now in the playoffs, playing Gordon at center and having the luxury of bigger players, Christian Brown, KCP as a wing defender, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green when he's in there, they're a more complete team. And I brought this up earlier in the playoffs. Talk about late game execution. I go back to that 2020. It's a different series. It's a different series if Mason Plumlee doesn't point switch. He gets checked into the game. He point switches with KCP, or not KCP, sorry. He point switches, and fucking Anthony Davis gets a wide open 3 buzzer beater to win a game.
Yep.
It's a different series if that play doesn't happen.
Is that game 1 or 2?
Yeah, it was early in the series, but Denver was winning. I think it was 104-102 when he hit the like. He point switched. I don't even know why he was in the game. I don't even know why he was in the game. He had done it in the regular season in the bubble. Kyle Kuzma hit a 3. He point switched. Why are you putting him in the game?
It is wild, 80.
You know, from 2020, Bron, you guys only have 2 active players left when you met the Nuggets. They only have 3 rotational players. What's different about the Nuggets from that year?
They're better, but they were great then, and they're great now. But I think Joker has gotten 2 more years under his belt. Jamal has gone back to his regular form after the injury, and the rest of those guys have been playing exceptional basketball. So, but they're really, 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 really good team.
If the Lakers win it all, would this be LeBron James' most impressive title yet?
In my opinion, yes, without question. In my opinion, if LeBron James pulls this off, this would be probably his greatest accomplishment. I understand that there are people that think Cleveland, but you had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. You didn't have a sporadic, periodically unavailable Anthony Davis. You didn't start off the season with Russell Westbrook. You didn't have a trade deadline deal that brought in Hachimura from the nation's capital about a few days before that trading deadline, and then Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt, who were considered marginal to good players, not scrubs by any stretch of the imagination, but marginal to good players, but not necessarily great. But yet somehow you go through Ja Morant, you go through Steph Curry, you go through Nikola Jokic, and then potentially Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown or Jimmy Butler and win a championship. I'm sorry. I'd have to look at that, and I'd have to say that would be the greatest championship accomplishment that LeBron James ever pulled off.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't